All right, Yankees fans, buckle up because today's updates are hotter than a midsummer game in the Bronx. This is the kind of news that gets every fan talking, speculating, and maybe even arguing a little bit because the Yankees front office just made a move that has the whole league buzzing. We're talking about a massive $22 million qualifying offer to Trent Grisham. Yes, you heard that right. The man who started last season as a fourth outfielder might just become the centerpiece of next year's outfield puzzle. This is the kind of decision that separates contenders from pretenders, and the Yankees are clearly taking a calculated gamble here. But what's the real strategy behind it? Is this a genuine attempt to lock in a player who broke out in a big way, or a chess move designed to control the market and make sure they don't walk away empty-handed if he signs elsewhere? Let's rewind a little. Grisham came into the season flying under the radar, just another name in the depth chart behind the big stars. But something clicked. His bat came alive in a way nobody saw coming. 34 home runs, 129 weighted runs created plus, and elite numbers across the board made him one of the top 3 center fielders in all of baseball. Suddenly, this wasn't just a depth piece, this was a game changer. And now, that performance has put the Yankees in a position where they have to decide. Do they believe in the breakout enough to pay superstar money for another year? Or do they let the market decide his worth? The clock is ticking because Grisham has until November 18th to accept or decline that offer, and whichever direction he goes will have ripple effects that last far beyond next season. The beauty of the qualifying offer system is that it forces teams to show their cards. By making this offer, the Yankees have set a price tag not just for themselves, but for every other team in the league. Any club that wants to sign him now must give up a valuable draft pick and international bonus money. That's a steep cost, and it might scare off a few potential suitors. It also gives the Yankees a bit of leverage because if Grisham does walk, they'll receive a compensatory draft pick. Not ideal, but not nothing either. Still, you can't replace 34 home runs and that kind of spark with a simple draft pick. The front office knows this, and that's what makes this situation so fascinating. Now, here's the twist. As good as Grisham's offensive numbers look, there are a few red flags that can't be ignored. His speed has dipped noticeably, and the advanced metrics in center field don't look as sharp as they used to. We're seeing a player who might need to shift to a corner outfield position sooner rather than later. And if that happens, it changes the entire defensive structure of the team. So the question becomes, are the Yankees willing to pay over $22 million for what might become a corner outfielder? Or is this move about something bigger? Maybe positioning themselves for a future trade, or ensuring they control his rights long enough to see how the rest of the offseason plays out. Because let's be real, the center field market this winter isn't exactly packed with options. After Grisham, you've got names like Harrison Bader and Cedric Mullins floating around, but neither has the kind of upside that Grisham showed this past season. That's why some fans are already dreaming about a blockbuster trade, maybe even for a guy like Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox. That would be a splash, but it would also mean giving up serious assets, and we all know the Yankees are trying to balance their books while still chasing that elusive championship. It's a delicate dance, and every move counts. And while all of this drama unfolds around Grisham's decision, rumors are flying about another major potential addition, one that could shake up the entire batting order. Picture this, Kyle Schwarber in Yankee pinstripes, crushing moonshots into the right field seats. Sounds good, doesn't it? After the heartbreak of falling short again in the postseason, the front office is clearly looking for a spark, and Schwarber might just be that guy. The left-handed slugger is a free agent, and insiders are whispering that the Bronx is his most likely landing spot. It makes sense. The Yankees lineup has been heavy on right-handed power for years, and adding a lefty like Schwarber could finally bring the balance they've been missing. Think about what he brings to the table. He's a proven postseason performer, a guy who thrives under pressure and doesn't flinch in big moments. That kind of presence changes the energy in the dugout and puts fear into opposing pitchers. Last season with the Phillies, Schwarber helped lead them to 96 wins before falling short to the Dodgers in the division series. But individually, he did exactly what you expect from him. Hit for power, worked deep counts, and set the tone for the offense. Bringing that kind of bat to Yankee Stadium is a dream scenario for any fan. It's tailor-made for that short porch in right field, and the visual of Schwarber launching bombs into the bleachers practically writes itself. Of course, there's the question of fit. If the Yankees do pull the trigger on this move, where does Schwarber play? The most obvious answer is designated hitter, which immediately raises eyebrows about Giancarlo Stanton's role. Stanton has struggled with injuries and inconsistency, and his massive contract makes it tough to move him. But if the Yankees truly want to go all in for 2026, they might just have to bite the bullet and figure out how to make room for Schwarber's bat. Because make no mistake, adding that kind of left-handed power would send a clear message to the rest of the league. The Yankees are not messing around. It would also show the fan base something they've been waiting for: urgency. The kind of urgency that says, we're tired of falling short. We're ready to go for it. Schwarber's addition wouldn't just improve the lineup. It would energize the entire clubhouse. Imagine him hitting behind Judge and ahead of Rizzo, or flipping that order, depending on a matchup. That's the kind of depth championship teams have. That's the kind of firepower that wins October games. Meanwhile, while the offensive possibilities are exciting, the pitching side of things is starting to look a little shaky. The bullpen, which has long been a strength, suddenly finds itself in trouble. 3 key relievers, Tommy Connell, Caleb Ferguson, and Nick Ramirez, have officially entered free agency. Losing one would hurt. Losing all 3 could be a disaster. This trio was the glue that held together the late innings last season, and replacing the kind of production won't be easy. Connell, or Tight Pants Tommy, as fans affectionately call him, was the emotional core of the bullpen. His energy, leadership, and ability to handle high-leverage situations made him invaluable. Letting him walk would create a massive hole, not just in performance, but in chemistry. Then there's Ferguson, talented but inconsistent. At times, he looked like a future setup man. At others, he couldn't find the strike zone. The Yankees have to decide if they believe they can unlock his potential or if it's time to move on. And Nick Ramirez, the lefty specialist, was a quiet but reliable weapon against tough left-handed hitters. Losing his steady hand would leave the team exposed in key matchups. This bullpen situation puts even more pressure on the front office. With so much money potentially tied up in Grisham, and with dreams of adding Schwarber to the mix, how much flexibility will they have left to rebuild the relief corps? The market for quality relievers is thin and expensive, and the Yankees can't afford to get this wrong. Every decision now feels like part of a larger puzzle, one that will define not just next season, but the trajectory of the franchise moving forward. The Yankees are standing at a crossroads. Do they double down on the players who got them here, or shake things up completely in search of that next great era of Bronx baseball? Whatever they decide, one thing's for sure: it's going to be an offseason full of drama, risk, and maybe even a little magic. The kind of offseason that keeps fans refreshing their feeds every 5 minutes, waiting for the next headline to drop. Because this is New York, and here, the pressure never sleeps. As the days tick down toward Grisham's decision deadline, the tension around Yankee Stadium keeps building. Fans, analysts, and even players are wondering what the next domino will be. If Grisham accepts the qualifying offer, the Yankees get a powerful short-term boost in the outfield. If he declines, it opens up a storm of possibilities: trades, free agents, and maybe even a total outfield reshuffle. The front office has to balance loyalty and logic, emotions and economics. The fans might want a sentimental choice, but the Yankees have always been a franchise built on cold strategy and relentless pursuit of winning. And sometimes that means letting go of a breakout player if it sets up a bigger play down the line. Behind closed doors, the whispers are already swirling about Plan B. Some insiders believe the Yankees are keeping a close eye on the White Sox's situation with Luis Robert Jr., while others think a stealth move for a younger, controllable center fielder could be in the works. The key point here is flexibility. If Grisham stays, the Yankees have their power bat and a known commodity. If he leaves, they gain room to chase a superstar or spread that salary across multiple upgrades. That's how this front office thinks, always with one move setting up the next. And let's not forget, the Yankees still have a few unresolved questions about their rotation and bullpen. The front office can't afford to pour all of its financial weight into the lineup while ignoring the arms that actually win playoff games. The bullpen exodus hit hard, and the free agent market isn't exactly friendly. Proven relievers are commanding absurd prices, and there's no guarantee of production. That's what makes decisions like re-signing Tommy Connell or taking another chance on Caleb Ferguson so delicate. Connell's experience and emotional leadership are invaluable, but his injury history makes him a risk. Ferguson, meanwhile, could be a reclamation project or a hidden gem, depending on who you ask. Nick Ramirez might be the quietest of the three free agents, but his role was essential. Every team needs that lefty who can neutralize the opposition's biggest left-handed threats in the 7th or 8th inning. If the Yankees can't bring him back, they'll need to find that balance elsewhere. Maybe through internal options, maybe through a surprise trade. The truth is, their bullpen depth is being tested like never before, and the front office has to find creative ways to patch those holes while still chasing star talent in other areas. That's where Kyle Schwarber's name keeps resurfacing. The idea of pairing him with Judge and Rizzo in the heart of the order is almost too good to resist. The visual alone, Schwarber stepping up to the plate in pinstripes, crowd roaring, a pitcher trembling as he stares down that lefty power, feels like classic Yankee theater. But this move isn't just about spectacle. It's about identity. The Yankees have been searching for that balance between brute strength and lineup flexibility, and Schwarber might be the piece that finally makes everything click. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. New York baseball fans woke up to an electric buzz this morning as whispers began to circulate about a possible blockbuster move that could redefine the balance of power in the American League. According to insiders close to the situation, the Yankees are on the verge of pulling off what many are already calling an explosion: the arrival of none other than Seattle's superstar outfielder, Julio Rodriguez, in pinstripes. If true, this would be one of the most seismic trades in recent MLB history. Rodriguez, just 24, is not only one of the brightest young talents in the game, but also the face of a Mariners franchise that seemed poised to build its future around him. His mix of speed, power, charisma, and showmanship has made him a fan favorite across the league, and a nightmare for opposing pitchers. Yet, for reasons still unclear, the chatter suggests that Seattle may be listening to offers, and the Yankees have reportedly jumped to the front of the line. The idea of Julio patrolling center field in Yankee Stadium is enough to send shivers down the spine of every rival in the AL East. Imagine pairing his explosive bat with the power of Aaron Judge, a 1-2 punch that could terrorize pitchers for years to come. The Yankees, long criticized for lacking youthful spark and consistent offensive firepower, may have just found their missing piece. No official statement has been made by either club, but sources around the league describe serious traction and late-night negotiations between the two front offices. Some reports claim that the potential deal could involve a combination of top prospects, including Jason Dominguez, and multiple established arms. Others insist that money and marketing potential might be driving this conversation as much as baseball itself. For now, it remains a rumor. But in New York, rumors have a way of turning into headlines overnight. The city is already dreaming. The bright lights, the roar of the Bronx crowd, and Julio Rodriguez stepping up to the plate in Yankee pinstripes. If the deal happens, it won't just shake the American League, it will explode it. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.